Hey YouTube, what's going on? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Bitcoin, Litecoin, and XRP. Those are the three we're going to be going over. Right now it is 6:53 a.m. Eastern Time. It is September 30th, 2019, so I wanted to put that out there because some people are going to be watching this a little bit later. So guys, what we're looking at here for Bitcoin, just to start out as we dig into this, Bitcoin right now is almost seeing tweezer bottoms. Now, we have not closed today's candle, obviously, okay? And typically when you have tweezer bottoms, they're right next to each other. It's the day back to back, okay? But what we're seeing here is about a 3-day gap, and then we're seeing the same rejection point down here. So the bears tried to push us down to around that $7,700 range, and we saw support. The bulls bought it back up. So right now, do you see these longer wicks here? What we're going to see is if we can close a candle like we have right now today, and what that may entail is that this is going to be our support area. And what I anticipate us doing if we do end up closing in this little almost hammer candle that we have there today, guys, I would anticipate first us trying to get up over around 8,247. Then we need to come back here and challenge this 200-day moving average, and this is in white, guys. And in my opinion, that's going to be very important for us. We have basically been having, guys, full body candle closes below this 200-day moving average. And if you take a look at this, we have not been below it, guys, since April 2nd, 2019. We were trading up above it this entire time in this bull market that we'd been in. Okay, so it's very significant that now we're having candle closes below it. And what we're trying to do is basically find support right at this area, guys. Do you see this whole chunk over here? What I can do for us, let me see where we got here, guys. There it is. There's our rectangle. So this whole area is the area of support that we're looking at, around right in here, if you can see that. Okay, so this big chunk, there's a lot of fight where we were going back and forth in here, guys, and what we were finding is support directly off that 7,466. And what that also correlates with here is our 0.618. It's pretty close to it, so I want to pull on our Fibonacci, and what we're going to do is go from our swing low up to our swing high. And in my opinion, guys, this 0.618 here, which is going to be around 72.42, that's going to be a key area for us to hold. And the reason why that is, number one, that's our golden area. That's one of the most important areas, at 0.618. We typically get a lot of bounces off that to the upside and to the downside as well. But it's also aligning with this support that we have there that we are looking at, guys, around that 74.66. So what a lot of people may be looking for is if we get pushed down to that 0.618, that may be a potential bounce area for us. And you could see in the last couple videos that I was doing, guys, we were talking about a potential reaction or relief bounce. So a lot of times when you break down out of these things, you can trade below it. Basically the descending triangle that we broke down out of, a lot of times you'll trade down here below it for roughly about like 9 to 14 days. Then you can get what's called a pullback, and you can go back and back test the area that we ended up dropping or breaking down out of, and that's going to be at around $9,200-$9,300, which would be significant. So say we're in some type of a long right now with a tight stop loss, or we're getting into 0.618. If we go down to that area, guys, that would be a potential good play, because from right here where we're at now, we're at $8,043. If we are to come back up here and even test this 200-day moving average at around that 87, that would be a very nice play from here. That's over, about $700 there. If we are to go up and test the bottom of the descending triangle, then we're going to be looking at, over $1,000 potential gain. But it's still going to depend on where we end up closing today. If we do see these long wicks, because guys, typically when you get these long wicks either to the upside, you can see up here we had long wicks, then we got our dump. Down here we had some longer wicks, then we started to pump. Wicks are going to show you when the bulls and the bears really step in key areas that they're going to defend. Okay, I always love to look at full body candle closes, but it's very important to look at the wicks as well. When you have those long wicks, guys, look up here, long wicks, we got pushed to the downside. Up here, long wicks got pushed to the downside. Down here, long wicks, we got pushed to the upside. So that's something that you do want to keep in your tool belt. And I also wanted to point out to you just a few indicators here quick. So we're going to go to my favorites. First of all, I want to start with our RSI. RSI's at 23. Now with Bitcoin, we've been as low as 9 before. You can see back in here, guys, we got down to 9, but we are in very oversold conditions for Bitcoin right now. Typically, we don't stay around this 20 for too long. If you go back throughout the health of Bitcoin, here, guys, you can see basically all these areas when we got down to around, 23, 24, back in here, we would always get a bounce and we'd start moving back to the upside. So maybe that's going to be our relief bounce that we end up getting out of here, guys. And what we'd want to see, say we do close up above this bottom horizontal line, guys, we would want to get through this top trend line as well. And if we start having candle close above that, then it could be what's called a busted pattern. And that could really be significant. I was reading about it yesterday, and as my book was saying, with the Encyclopedia Chart Patterns, was saying that if we do break out of this upper trend line on good volume, we could run as much as 60%. So that's always the upside. To the downside, guys, if we do break down through that 0.618, around that $7,200, I would be looking down to around $5,800 next, and that'd be the bottom where we had this descending triangle and a lot of support for a long time. So that's Bitcoin right now, guys. We're in those oversold territories. We're just going to wait to see if we do get some type of a bounce out of here. And like I said in my last video, I've been in a position from $7,900. I have a very tight stop loss. If that does get pinged, then I'm going to look down at that 0.618. But I'm sitting in a position right now, and we're going to see where we end up going. So guys, if you like these, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. The next one we're going to get into is Litecoin. And tell me what you're doing down low with Bitcoin, guys. I want to know your thoughts. Do you think we're going to get a nice bounce off the 0.618? And then with Litecoin here, guys, first I want to start out with the fib. Okay, so remember, we've had our death cross, right? When our 50 crosses down through our 200, and what happened was we actually came back up and we tried to test and get out of this 50-day moving average, but we failed. We saw rejection. And in my humble opinion, if Bitcoin would have broken up, we would have broken back up above this 200 and been trading up above it, guys. It's so important to watch what Bitcoin does. We're still so correlated with it, so always remember that. Next, we're going to do our fib here. We're going to go from our swing low up to our swing high. And yet again, guys, look at the top there. Do you see those long wicks? That's a sign of potential rejection to the downside. Over here, long wick, potential rejection to the downside. So those are things that I want to pay attention to. And right now, we're basically sitting directly on top of this 0.786. That's at $48.56. So we're up above it just a little bit here. But a key thing for me is going to be for Litecoin to get back up above $61. And that's going to be this area right here. That was basically old support. We need to turn it in. Basically, guys, it was old support, and now it's going to act as overhead resistance. So we'll need to break up through that and then turn it back into support. And you can see this 0.618 is going to be a tough area at 69.40 because we have that 50-day moving average pressing down on us as well, and it's sitting directly on that 50-day moving average there, guys. So that's going to be an area of confluence of just strong overhead resistance. Now with Litecoin, we're at 31. So 30 and under is that oversold territory. We're up above it just a little bit right now, guys, but I truly believe Litecoin is just waiting for Bitcoin to see if Bitcoin's going to get a reaction bounce or if we're just going to end up falling lower. That's going to be very important to watch. But guys, we're still in this nasty downtrend here. So what we do is draw our trend line right here. This is going to be the new one that we're going to need to break out of at some point. And guys, that's another thing that we could have where we come up here and we test this trend line and then we can even fall farther is one option. Another option is we actually break out of it and get a really nice break and try to get out through that 0.618 that's acting as overhead resistance there. So the main thing for Litecoin, guys, I'm going to be watching the 0.786. I'm going to be watching $61 as overhead resistance. We're going to be paying attention to this trend line and those moving averages, and we're also going to be watching Bitcoin. I believe if Bitcoin breaks up to around that $9,000, then Litecoin's going to come up here and probably test around that 0.618 at $69. So right now, in terms of Litecoin, I'm being very patient. I just want to see where we end up breaking with Bitcoin, and then we can make a move off that. It's really important to look at that stuff, guys. And then next one, we'll look at XRP. And with XRP, it's kind of interesting here, guys. Let me move this out of the way. So XRP in green, you can see where we had a ton of support here all along, guys. We ended up breaking down through that. Okay, we came back up, we wicked up, but we could not close up above it. We came back down. We finally broke up through on good volume, guys. We even almost tested this 200-day moving average before we saw rejection. We were up above our 50, which was a good thing. Then Bitcoin crashed and we dumped back down and we broke down through that green support line there. And what's happening now, guys, whenever you break through stuff, a lot of times, like I said, you will back test things. You see how we broke down through this purple trend line we've been looking at here? We broke down through it, really long wick down here, so a lot of defense by the bulls. And now what we're doing is back testing the trend line that we fell down through. So we would need a close up above that today. And that's going to be roughly around, guys, about that 25, 26 cents. Then we're going to need to close up above that 50-day moving average, which is going to be around 26.5 cents, which is going to be key. And those are the main things that I'm looking at right now for XRP. We're looking at this, reaction bounce. We're going to check out this 50, and then we're going to look at around that 28 cents if we can get up above that. Now, if we just see rejection off this bottom trend line here, guys, I'm going to start looking down to around that 20 cents to see if we can find some type of support. Now our RSI is at 46, so we're getting in some healthier range there, becoming a little bit more just moderate or neutral for XRP, and I do believe XRP, guys, is waiting on Bitcoin again. Right now we're at 25 cents. We're up 5.85%, and we're going to get into a couple more indicators there. So we just looked at the RSI. The next one we're going to look at is our stock RSI. With our stock RSI, we're starting to get a little bullish cross down here. We're at 16.9 and 13. So this is an area, guys, where we may find some type of a bounce out of here if Bitcoin can get moving, but we're looking good in terms of we're oversold. We're not in some overbought territories when we're dealing with the situation that we're dealing with now. And then we'll look at our Bollinger Bands. And with our Bollinger Bands, guys, we're a little bit more at the bottom of the band. We're going to see if we can come up here and test the middle band. If you take a look at this, the middle band is going to be sitting directly with that 50 as well. So that's going to be at 26 cents. So 26 cents, 25, 26 cents is a key area for us that we're going to need to close up above, guys. And we're going to need to close up above it on volume. So those are the main things I'm looking at for XRP, guys. Like I said before, you know, I'm in the business of trading these things. When you have moves like this, I mean, I believe you need to take advantage of it. But just take a look, guys. If you are just now starting to purchase like XRP or, you know, Litecoin, take a look at these basically full bubble pops that we've had. I mean, this is amazing to see XRP go from 25 cents all the way up to over $3 in a matter of a month, $3.33. And now what we're doing is just completely, and it takes, guys, sometimes 2-3 years to shake out an entire bubble pop that only took us a month to go all the way up in that type of height there. And now we're just shaking out. We're going to see where we finally can start making a move. But, you know, guys, we're at 25 cents now, a quarter for XRP. Not the most terrible thing. Can we go lower? Absolutely, guys. We could go all the way down, let's see, to about 12 cents. That's a possibility, and that would be a complete full bubble pop if we did get to that point. So, guys, let me know down below. I wanted to get you a quick one here. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. So this is Bitcoin, Litecoin, XRP. Right now we're waiting for Bitcoin and just really going to see what Bitcoin does, if we're going to get a reaction out of there, if we're just going to start getting dumped to the downside there. But Ripple's been doing some big things, guys, making or having a lot of adoption, which is a good thing, and I just wanted to put it on your radar there. All right? God bless. Take care, my friends.